When I see your face, there is nothing I would change. Except the direction that I'm walking in.
Roses are red. Violets are blue. If your booty's as big as a caboose, I choose you.
You are the reason why God made the middle finger!
Hello, fellow mutants.
Crap, I'm okay. I boomered it. Anyways, hello, fellow mutants. Welcome back to another stream. And as I continue these interviews, I figured I would bring on one person that I look up to quite a bit. And I was lucky enough to interview his wife last year, and now I get to interview him. So please say hello to the amazing Marc the Cyborg.
Sorry, I muted myself. Hello, everybody. And this is baby JoJo. She's a temper. Calm down, baby JoJo.
Hey, JoJo.
She's very, very comfortable when we're in our little Diablo 4 setup we have going, because I play Diablo 4 with an arcade stick, like a Giga Chad. It's seriously a lot of fun playing it this way, actually, though. And yeah, but she's very comfortable. And anytime I disturb her even a little bit, like I'm not hurting her, I'm just like lifting her head up or something, like just do that. I know it'll make her growl, but then she just growls, like freaks out, and then just goes. It's actually kind of funny. Rocky's much more chill. He's got a bone right now. He's chewing on a patella. JoJo has difficulty sharing space with the Mexican.
That seems like a typical sibling, right?
Yeah, we're trying to let her work through her racism, but she's Korean, so she's from a different culture. Rocky's
from a different culture.
Well, I mean, yeah, Rocky's he's a Chihuahua though, so he's just our little laid back little Mexican dude. Seriously, he's the most chilled out dog ever, except for between like 9:45 and about 10:15 every night that he flips out and decides it's playtime. I don't know.
Oh, really?
I don't know why it's that time, but it seems like maybe it's just the amount of time after he's eaten, because we usually feed them around 6:30, and maybe, I don't know, he's crashing at that point, so he's just trying to burn off his energy. But yeah, he goes insane every night, and but for the rest of the time he's fine. Now he was just growling there because he thought I was trying to take away the little patella that he's eating on, like a kneecap. Not a human.
Oh, really?
Ow, I believe.
And I see someone in the chat saying, "What a cute cutie pie pupper."
Yeah, well, I mean, they're both pretty cute. JoJo is she's just she's very sleepy and doesn't want to be disturbed. Rocky, well, he doesn't want to be disturbed either, but because he's being a dog, like he's chewing on a bone.
Yeah, I feel that, because every blue moon my cat will growl at me. Like, what did I do? He yeah, it only happens once in a while when I mess with his wet food, and after that it's okay, I'm fine. What do you want, Dad?
Well, I mean, we usually just give him this bone for 20 minutes, but I don't know. He's been munching on it for a while, and this one's about ready to be thrown out, so I'm kind of just letting him go to town. It'll keep him calm.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But how have you been today?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I actually just hooked up the computer that I'm logged into you with. I just upgraded the motherboard and the CPU, and then found out that it got much more expensive than I thought it was going to be because I needed a new CPU cooler and a new RAM because it's DDR5 RAM on the new motherboards instead of DDR4, which means now I have RAM that I'm trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace because I had 64 gigabytes, which is a pretty large amount of DDR4 RAM, and now it's kind of useless. So I just picked up my computer, came back, hooked it all up, and it luckily worked pretty well right out the gate. It was relatively plug and play. So I'm pretty happy about that because I was thinking that the reason that we're doing this at this time instead of right at 1 is because I wanted to give myself a bit of a buffer because I had a feeling I would get home, set up the computer, hook up my monitors, hook up my peripherals, and nothing would work. And then I'd one by one have to figure out what the problem with each of them is. And then reinstall all my software and everything, or at least for my audio drivers, my camera drivers, and everything. And luckily didn't have to do any of that. It was all just pretty smooth. Why I'm actually happy I got the guy. I got to do it to set it up. I'm just like, look, I can rebuild this computer. I just don't want to take the time to do it. And I'm dealing now with parts that are at a level of high end that I didn't really want to even trust myself with, like the liability of putting it together properly and not messing up. And so now it has good cable management and stuff, better than I can do. And the guy they set me up so that it could pretty much just resume as if it was before I dropped it off yesterday. So it's pretty cool. And and then I've just been fiddling around in Diablo 4 that I was doing as we began. Here, I'm on the wrong mouse here because I can Rocky's smacking the patella on my keyboard, and it's actually noise now. Hey, Rocky, I'm not taking your bone away from you. I'm just saying move away from the wrist rest. Yeah, so just move the camera stick around. This is cutting the frame rate in like a quarter. I think it was running at like 15 FPS on Phil's end, but it's a perfect 60 for me. Total like rasterized 4K. It's not upscaled at all or anything, and it's not a very intense looking game. I mean, you can kind of zoom the camera in a little. This is guess here we can't tilt it around, but there's the version of me in this game. He has more hair than I have now.
Wait, what?
But my little created character there, I just brought up the menu, and but I found that the only way I could do the dark shadows that are kind of on my eyes here, if I go back over to my camera, just because I'm old. The way I had to do these was to actually just put makeup on the character and the creator character. So yeah, I'm wearing eyeshadow, but it's actually it was an artistic choice to demonstrate how tired I normally look. But Diablo 4 has been pretty cool though. I started playing a bit of I think Phil might be doing so, he's muted right now, but I started playing a bit of Street Fighter 6 last night as well. I took my medication that my one that I take at night, that it's not for sleeping, but it does make me sleepy. So I usually take it right before I go to bed. About an hour before it came out, and I got to the last fighter in an arcade mode run playing as Luke, who's like the first character that comes up. He's kind of the cover character of this game. And I fell asleep almost while fighting the last guy in the arcade mode. And there's only 4 fights in arcade mode in Street Fighter 4. 4 fights and a bonus round in the middle, which honestly I like because it means you might actually crush a bunch of the like arcade mode campaigns with different people and try on harder difficulties, as opposed to kind of going through it once and it taking a whole lot of time and then not wanting to do it again because it's just too big of a, what would be the word for it, of an endeavor. And then they've got the World Tour mode, which is the created character mode for that one. But I have not made my Street Fighter 6 character.
Wait, so Street Fighter 6 lets you make new characters?
Yeah, so the World Tour mode is like the campaign in Street Fighter 6, and in that you make your own character. I guess, technically if you want, I could fire it up and we can make my character. So I can share the screen for that. And I think that would actually translate pretty well because you're not going to have to really worry about the visuals for it. But yeah, so you make your own character, and then you have you ever played like a Yakuza game or Shenmue even?
I haven't. Look,
Okay,
I sadly haven't.
So a lot of people used to especially think that Yakuza was Grand Theft Auto in Japan, or like it was more like Sleeping Dogs. That's essentially Grand Theft Auto or True Crime, but Grand Theft Auto in Hong Kong. And Yakuza is not that. Yakuza is more like a beat 'em up, like Final Fight or something like that, or Streets of Rage, like whatever have you, in an area that in a city that also has a JRPG sort of economy system and quest system involved. So it's a town and you walk around. It's not huge. You don't drive. You only walk in the Yakuza games as well as in Street Fighter 6. And you can randomly get into just fist fights. Like it functions as if it's a Power Rangers movie or like show or what's the other? Oh, Cobra Kai. Where just martial arts battles will spontaneously break out. That happens in the Yakuza games, and it kind of happens here, where it's essentially any person you talk to, you can challenge to a fight. And then it increases your reputation, and eventually it gets to the point that people will start declining fights with you just because your rep's gotten as big as it is. Now, for the way that interacts with the Street Fighter characters is the campaign is you going around to meet them, to train with them, and then design your mood sets out of moves that the other characters have. So you can't play with that character online in regular ranked mode, like have your character go up against like Ryu or Chun-Li or those people, but you can fight against other people's created characters, and that's basically how it works.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Which Street Fighter game is your favorite?
I probably 4, although I've not really played enough of this one to really make a solid opinion on it. It's been really good so far though. So, but I mean, like I said, I played 4/5 of an arcade mode last night. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in it. And I played a fair amount of the demo, but the AI was on such an easy difficulty in the demo that I don't really find it particularly valuable to do. But the gameplay is really, really tight and solid, and can't complain about that, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess the only Street Fighter game I've played so far has been the 5th one. And that's only because my brother had it.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about 5, but I did play a little bit of 5 over the last couple months, and they definitely improved it quite a lot. But I thought it was such a downgrade after 4. Street Fighter 4, I liked its combat system a lot more. 5 I found confusing with like the V trigger stuff and everything like that. I still don't really get how they work and I think it's a bit weird that they are variables which only exist for one round of a battle. So you can only use the V trigger once, I believe. You can't use them in each round. So, and I think Mortal Kombat does some stuff with that as well. But I don't know. I'd have to probably getting too many of the wires crossed. I played a whole bunch of fighting games in the last few months, so I might be getting some of them confused with each other. But 6 has been okay so far.
So I gotta ask, what was the origins of your name, Marc the Cyborg?
I lost my leg, and now I have a robot part. It's actually pretty easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a robot right leg. I'm surprised you didn't know that. I thought that's something everyone knows about me. I mean, it's not a problem that you don't, but it is just kind of funny that that's not something that you knew about me. I thought everyone knew that about me. I'm almost kind of impressed.
See, I probably knew. It's just, I guess I had a brain for it.
Yeah, maybe.
At like some point.
But yeah, that would be the reason.
Oh, was it like a gamer tag first?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like before I lost my leg?
Yeah.
No, it was not. That was not just an astonishing coincidence. No, I changed the name to Marc the Cyborg when I started. Basically, when I kind of decided I wanted to start trying to do like YouTube content and stuff. So I made myself a new username and a new channel, and here I am now, I suppose. It's as simple as that, or as complicated, I guess, depending on how you look at it.
So then, like, what kind of like inspired you to make a channel?
Actually, it's funny that we're talking about the Yakuza games because it was my friend Alfonso, cool guy Fonz is what he goes by on YouTube and stuff. Or I guess on not so much on YouTube. He doesn't do much YouTubing, but on like Twitter and Steam and everything. He asked me what I was playing that week, and I'd been playing Yakuza 0. And he said, "Oh, it's on sale on Steam right now. Should I buy it?" And I said, "No." And he's like, "Well, I thought you just said it was really good." I was like, "Yeah, it is really good, but I feel like you're not going to like it." And then he asked me what I mean by that. And I kind of just decided, you know what? Here, I've got a copy of Adobe Premiere because I had some promotion on it that I decided to pick it up in the event that I wanted to start doing some video editing for something. And which is crazy because I've had to spend way more on it since. So I guess Adobe got me with that one. But so I just made him a little video where I wrote a script and had some footage of my playthrough and cut it together, and then I had fun doing it, so I kind of just kept doing it, and that's really as simple as it is.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. So it's essentially the game that inspired you to do it.
In a way, yeah, but not because it's like I love this game so much I had to start making videos. It was just like, well, I don't know how to explain why this is a complicated game to recommend to my friend, so I'm just gonna make a video and see. I use that as my exercise to be like, hey, can I make a video? I'll give it a shot. And and then I tried. I made a video on Yakuza 0. People liked it. Then I think I reviewed A Plague Tale: Innocence next. And Project Warlock after that was the first like boomer shooter that I reviewed, like a big kind of old school first person shooter. And then I made a few videos on that type of game, and and just kept making them, and then eventually started doing some work for Geeks and Gamers, and that's that.
Speaking of Geeks and Gamers, how was it like to like join them, and how did you join them per se?
Well, I think I had initially just tweeted one of my videos at Jeremy because there was someone on Twitter that was, I think, saying like oh yeah, Geeks and Gamers doesn't ever have any gaming videos. So why don't you guys make any videos about gaming, because your channel's called Geeks and Gamers? And then I just tweeted the video that I made on Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. And then Jeremy messaged me and was like, "Hey, would you mind making some videos for us?" And then I made a whole bunch of them for a little while. But man, I can't even imagine working at that pace now. That was killing me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was doing a video a week, and I was doing my best to like actually form proper opinions for each of those, but I felt like I was constantly having to like do rewrites at the last second while I'm editing, do re-recordings. Like I wasn't getting the videos to the spot that I would generally want them to be if I were to be releasing them. But I have deadlines to meet. It's a bit of a different deal.
See,
is there a USB peripheral plugging in and unplugging on your end, or is that me that's getting that little sound? I'm hearing that little faint kind of doo-doo-doo-doo.
I don't know.
It at all? If you're not,
I'm not hearing it.
Okay, then it's something of mine. I don't even know which computer it is though. It's okay. It's not that important.
And really quick, I like to say hi to the chat. Like, since they were saying hi to all of the
hello everybody.
Well, okay, that's really interesting. That leg looks.
I'm sorry. The leg looks wrong. Oh, the leg looks wrong. What am I created character for Diablo? I guess. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm wearing long pants. You can't really tell when I'm wearing long pants.
Touche. Mm-hmm. So then, like, what has been since you're a gamer? What are some of the games that you have really enjoyed over the years?
Oh God, I mean, where would you even want to start? I don't know. I mean, are you talking like my childhood or like this past year? I've probably played in the, I think it's safe to say quadruple digits of the individual video games, and I've liked a whole bunch of them. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can really narrow it down. You might have to give me a window of time you're looking at, or like, are you asking just like what are my all time favorite video games, or
Yeah.
okay, even that's a complicated one these days. Huh. I'd probably say my safe ones are Quake, the original Quake, Metal Gear Solid 3. I'd say Resident Evil 4. Actually, the remake's quite good, but I'd say the original Resident Evil 4. Dark Souls 1. Maybe even Bloodborne, although I wish Bloodborne ran better. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. That's definitely one of my favorites. Probably my favorite From Software game. But yeah, I could kind of just keep going. That's why I said this isn't a good question to ask me, because like I could seriously just come up with dozens and dozens of games that I genuinely love and think are some of the best games ever made. And I think the ones that are occurring to me at the time are just that. They were the ones that I happened to think of at the time you asked me. But I don't know. What are some of yours? I mean, I can tell you whether or not I've played them.
Kingdom Hearts for sure.
And I've not played a single Kingdom Hearts game, so I wouldn't be able to tell you anything about that series.
Gas, but that's okay now. Kingdom Hearts, Sly Cooper. I've
Played
that.
a Sly Cooper game either. Although I played a bunch of Sucker Punch's other games, like the infamous games and Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm. And then I have to say the PlayStation 4's Spider-Man and the Arkham series.
Oh, nice. So it's
Yeah.
I guess it's mostly like superheroes and I guess like open world games that involve a lot of traversal. And that's probably how I would describe that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And now of course like Fortnite, but that's mostly like to play with my friends and to playfully like tease them.
So like multiplayer Fortnite?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Fortnite's not one that I'm too keen on, but mostly because I'm not crazy about Epic Games practices in the PC gaming marketplace, which is kind of my platform. So, you know, it's I'm not crazy about them, so I don't play the game so as to not support it. But I also don't like. I would never give someone shit for playing a video game. You know, like if you like it, that's totally cool.
No, that's all understandable. Gamer Voice says retro games is the way to go. How do you feel about that?
Can be, yeah. Although this isn't the best year to demonstrate it because, man, there's been a lot of really good video games coming out, and yeah, I think this has been a pretty solid year and an even crazier couple of weeks. But yeah, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom came out this year, and that game's incredible. Both the Dead Space remake and the Resident Evil 4 remake were great. I just started playing a game called Bolt Gun, which is a Warhammer 40,000 shooter that's really, really good. It's another kind of boomer shooter. Diablo 4 is good. Street Fighter 6 is good. And like lots of good games are coming out. So at the same time, retro gaming is usually, not always, but usually a more affordable way to go about video gaming when there's not really any advantage to at least playing a single player game. Maybe playing a multiplayer game right when it launches has advantages, but you're always safe to wait for a better price on a video game.
Yeah, I was telling Mark backstage where I'm usually one of those people that waits until like the price goes down, which is why it like took me so long to get the Miles Morales game. Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with waiting. Especially for a single player game. A single player game like Miles Morales, you do not have to you don't have to play that on day one. Like you won't really get anything out of it. It's just all you really get for playing it on the first day the game comes out is that yeah, some things might not work and might end up being a lot better later if you just wait.
Yeah, that's too. Like nowadays seems like the waiting game seems like the best way to go.
Yeah.
It seems like.
I would agree.
And hey, Aim and Fate, how are you doing, my friend? Miss Susie asks, what was your least favorite game to review?
For me, that's I don't really deal with games that I don't like generally, because what I've been doing for the last little bit is not doing like weekly videos and reviewing things right when they come out. I've been trying to focus on kind of longer format, almost critical analysis type videos that take a hell of a lot longer, or like, I mean, a franchise retrospective like the Metroid one I did, where I had to play like 12 games in a series, and I worked on that video for about a year. So I guess I'm not really in a position where I have to make any video on anything that I don't want to, because I just kind of work on my own now and do the videos that I like. But these days I find I'm mostly streaming and talking about things on podcasts and stuff, because I find that it's easier for me to keep current and address things that are happening right now. Whereas I kind of want to keep my videos for stuff that I'm 100% sure I want to make something on and spend a lot of time on it and make it be really good. But yeah, so I guess at the time, least favorite games to review would probably be ones that I didn't really have a say in. Like, it was like, you really should review this because it's going to be a big game and people are going to want to see a video about it, like a Call of Duty game or something. And I don't mind playing the Call of Duty games, but I also don't really think that I'm the best guy to review them. And not because it's like, well, I don't like Call of Duty, therefore I shouldn't review Call of Duty. I was like, I don't actually think that a good video game analyst or critic or journalist, whatever you want to call me, or anyone like me, should care if they like the genre or not, or like the style of game. You should be able to play it and then critically analyze it. And I did, but I also knew that like most of the criticisms that I would have for things like the multiplayer balancing and game design are not things I have the context to properly address, because I'm not in that community. I don't know what makes a good one, really. And it's sort of the same thing with Diablo. Diablo 4, I'm not going to review, because action role-playing games, ARPGs, like a Diablo type game, is just not, it's not a genre I've ever been invested in primarily, because I know that the people who play, say, Diablo 3 or Diablo 2 or Path of Exile or any one of those games, that tends to be their game. Like they play that, and they pretty much play only that, and they've got like 1,000 hours into it. So if it's a game like that, or like Destiny, I wouldn't be able to make a video on it, just because I'd be like, I'd be posing. Like I know a bit about those games. Even Destiny I played for several years, but I haven't played it in the last 3. So what would I have to say about Destiny? But you never want to seem like you're speaking as if you're an authority on the subject when you really don't even understand what you're reviewing. You might understand that you have fun with it, or that you don't have fun with it. But if you can't really explain what makes a good one of the thing that you're looking at, I don't really know why you would want to spend time reviewing it and analyzing it, because all you're going to do is you're going to make a bunch of people who like the game mad at you for not talking about it properly. Because just gonna be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking. He's never played one of these games, or never played any one of them above 500 hours or something. Because I'm not the kind of guy who goes into the end game of that. I'm not in the loot grind for playing Diablo on Inferno level 6, like or whatever they structure the difficulty as. But there are people who do, and I think it's those people who should maybe be addressing those type of games. Yeah, sorry, that was I often go on very long tangents also.
No, I encourage that on here. That was great. That was great. And I saw Susie. Hold on, where I can't see it. But not that one. Smart move, Mark. Do what you love.
Thank you.
And then she also says that she'll rate because she's a shit gamer.
Right on. Well, I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with saving a couple bucks on a game, especially if you don't think that you're going to be particularly great at it. But one thing that I do like about Steam, which is why I play on PC primarily, is because that if I buy a game and I don't like it, I've got 2 hours of game time or 2 real-time weeks to return it, and you just get your money back, and then you can buy something else that day without leaving your house, because Steam.
Oh yeah, online play definitely has made things more convenient. That's for sure. Seems like.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you will, Susie.
Not ashamed. Oh. Sorry, what was the comment there? Not ashamed.
I'm not ashamed. I have no skills.
I mean, like, though I have always tried to be upfront about my level of competence with video games. I will often tell people, like, look, I'm not incredible at video games. I've got the patience when I'm interested in a game and I'm clicking with the mechanics at least to a degree, even if I'm not very good at it, I've got the patience to learn and eventually get good at it. And then when someone sees me play a game after I've been playing for a little while, it's like, wow, you're really good at this game. I'm like, no, I sucked for a long time. I'm smart enough to be able to understand the mechanics of the game and how the game works and how I can best play it so that my maybe not fantastic twitch reflex skills aren't really the primary factor, because I understand what the game's doing and I know what my role in it should be. Yeah. And every game has a bit of a different feel too. So there's never a way to be great at every game. There
So,
are
like,
tons of people with lots of that natural aptitude, though, and I'd say that'd probably be much more common.
so then, like, what do you feel is your your best in terms of like the genre games?
Sorry, could you phrase that again? I'm not sure what exactly you're
Like,
asking.
like there are different genres, like action games, story games, like retro games.
Are you asking if I have a favorite genre of games?
Yeah, what type is your favorite, and what do you feel is your best? If that makes sense.
I don't know that I have a favorite genre. I mean, I guess like you'd probably say, well, it's probably some kind of action game or like RPG elements. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think actually one of the main problems of the way people look at games is there's so much money involved in making a game that a lot of trends in the industry end up sort of going insane and making it so that every game feels like it has to add all of these features or it will just not be good. And I kind of feel like thinking you have to narrow it down to like this is the best genre of games, I think is the reason why like you can almost guarantee that if Sony is going to announce a new series, it's going to be a third person over the shoulder cinematic game, probably with a big strong person leading some kind of child around, because it's just they're kind of just all becoming one thing. And it's why I almost don't I think that I could say there are genres that I click with more easily than others, but I never thought that I'd be on a big fighting game kick this year, because I haven't really seriously played a fighting game in over a decade, like maybe 15 years. But, I picked up a fight stick and started playing some fighting games, then found I really liked them. So I don't know. I guess I don't really have one. Maybe first-person shooters. But there's plenty of times where I just don't feel like dealing with an ultra-fast first-person shooter. Like, I'm just like, okay, my brain isn't ready for that. Even when I was playing Bolt Gun, which I like a lot on Sunday, I'll probably be playing it again. I found because it's so intense that the best way for me to do it and have the stream actually work well as a thing that people could watch was I would play a level of Bolt Gun and then I would switch over and play a level of Space Marine, which is another Warhammer 40,000 game. That's one that's getting a sequel later this year too. So it was that. While I'd say that of the two, I like playing Bolt Gun more than I like playing Space Marine, with Space Marine being kind of, people used to call it Gears of Warhammer because it's sort of an over-the-shoulder Gears of War type game with really decent melee combat too, though, which Gears of War doesn't really have. But anyways, I found though that even though I would probably prefer to play Bolt Gun and they say that like, yeah, this is a better game to me, it is also like, well, but I can't play Bolt Gun for more than like 20 minutes without like I'm gonna have a seizure or something. Like, it's just oh my god, I'm moving so fast, I'm shooting so many things, I'm thinking at the same pace that the game is going, and I've just gotta chill out for a bit. So at the same time, I could play something like Octopath Traveler 2, like a JRPG, and yeah, there's times that I really, really like reading through text and like, or like hearing a story, hearing voice acting, getting involved in a narrative and playing some turn-based combat, spending a lot of time talking to my chat. But if I'm feeling really amped up and want to play a shooter, I'm not going to then be like, okay, well, our JRPGs are the best game, so I'm going to play a JRPG because I've decided that's the best genre, even though I really want to play a shooter. Like I kind of I sort of don't think it's a good idea to have a favorite anything when it comes to video games because it's just such a wide ranging hobby. It's sort of like someone saying, "What's your favorite story?" You know, whereas like
Mhm.
stories can be told in so many mediums that you're like, well, you mean like story of what I did the other day, like an anecdote, or do you mean story like book I've read, series of books I've read, show that I've watched, game that I've played, comic that I've read, comic strip, like 3 panels of a comic that tell its own little story. Like there's so many
Mm.
different versions of them that's kind of like, well, what's your favorite type of story? And then yeah, like some days you might be like, oh, I want to read a comic book. Some days it'd be like, yeah, you know what? I really want to dive into like a word overkill, just 1,000-page fantasy novel with really dense lore that's well written. Like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, those are very different types of stories, but I know a lot of people who like both of those things too. You know, so I don't think you really have to pick.
See, that makes sense. I can see where you're coming from with that. I see Susie saying if I take the time, I can up my skills, but I haven't had the time. But now that in real life work is slowing down, I'm dipping my toes back into gaming.
Best advice I can give is just find play a lot of games that like if you Xbox has its Game Pass service and PlayStation has its I forget what theirs is
PlayStation
called.
Plus.
Is it just PlayStation Plus? It's not PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium or some
Well,
like
there's like three
they're one
different.
that's like well the one that's like Game Pass. Like the one that if I were to recommend Game Pass, I would recommend this in its place for PlayStation. I just don't know
So
what
like
that's called.
it's called PlayStation Plus technically because there's like three different versions. Like the standard one, then I forgot what the next level is, and then there's the premium one. And the premium one lets you play like get some games for free, get some discounts, and then play some PlayStation games that were like PlayStation 4, 3, 2, and 1 on the
Yeah,
PlayStation 5. Yeah.
so then the premium one, and the reason I want to make the distinction and not just call it PlayStation Plus is because you also require PlayStation Plus to play online. So where that gets tricky in conversation when you're trying to tell people about video games that may know a bunch about video games but might not, if you say, "Oh, you can play this for free on PlayStation Plus," you might send someone home to their PlayStation thinking they're about to play like a game they're excited about. It's like, holy shit, I didn't realize I could just play it with my subscription. That's amazing. And then
Mhm.
find out it's like, oh, I have just the normal PlayStation Plus. They were talking about PlayStation Plus Premium, which is why I kind of like that Xbox didn't like they called it Game Pass when they decided to make it its own thing. They didn't just say Xbox Live Gold Premium.
Right.
I was like, well, okay, well, yeah, okay. But I think Sony does that because I think they know people will have those conversations and that it'll lead to those moments, and that will be the moment that that person decides, okay, fine, I'll sign up. And I
Mhm.
think that's a little shitty. It's not the worst, like as far as marketing tricks go, but I don't know. I'm not crazy about it.
So have you ever played like any of the PlayStation title games?
Yeah, have I played any? Yeah, I mean, yeah, a whole bunch of them. Like,
Which one's your like? If you had to say like your top three, what's your top three favorites?
I'd say God of War Ragnarok probably has the best script, like best writing.
Can't agree with
Followed
that.
probably closely by Last of Us, the original one, very specifically the original one. Um, trying to think. What would be my next one that I would put on there? Maybe you know what? I'm not gonna count. I'm not gonna count Dark Demon Souls or Bloodborne because I don't know. I don't know if I can call those uh like PlayStation Studios games. I mean, I guess like they published them, or in the case
Mhm.
of Demon Souls, they published it in Japan, and then Atlas published it in North America. That's the thing.
Mhm.
Like Sony had From Software making the thing that became Dark Souls essentially exclusively for them, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to release this in North America. Americans they're shit at games, so they won't be able to play this." And then so Sega Atlas, like the Persona studio, was like, "We'll take this game that's already done and just pay to release it in North America." And then the Dark Souls series happened. So sometimes they don't make the best decisions. This is also why I kind of don't want to call Bloodborne like their game because it's kind of more From Software's game, and it became a PlayStation game because of business arrangements. It's kind of like I wouldn't call Elden Ring or Dark Souls a Bandai Namco game, really. You know, like it's like, oh, I love Bandai Namco. They made Dark Souls. It's like most of their games are kind of like cash-in anime adaptations, and then they have Soul Calibur and Tekken, and now Souls. Like those are kind of their things. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably say maybe I'll go with Returnal to give one that's sort of more of a curveball. Although I guess I could think back further and maybe come up with some more interesting ones, like Twisted Metal Black. Twisted Metal Black's a great game.
Mm.
I don't know. It's hard. I guess if you, you know what? Maybe Killzone 3 I liked a lot, and Killzone 2. I like the two Killzone sequels in the middle. Wasn't crazy about the fourth one. And the first one's it's a really clunky game. It's not horrible, but it's also pretty rough. It's a rough one to go back to.
And I see Kathy Skywalker says A7X did a couple songs for Call of Duty.
I'm
Really?
guessing that's Avenged Sevenfold.
That's the band.
I'm assuming so. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not like, obviously I'm not a big Avenged Sevenfold fan. Otherwise that would probably be something that I would know. But just doing the math on that acronym, that's sort of what I would guess is the name the band being referenced.
Okay.
I'm aware of the band. I'm just like, I wouldn't like, obviously I'm not a huge fan. don't hate them, but just don't like.
Speaking of bands,
like I said, I don't want to be a poser. It's why I don't pretend to know a whole shitload about video games that I actually know nothing about.
Speaking of which, like, guess you mentioned bands. Oh, kind of Kathy did. Was like, you have a favorite band? Because mine is like Black Eyed Peas.
Mine would be Tool. They're
Tool?
Yeah, kind of a progressive metal band, I suppose.
Oh, you're a metal type of listener, aren't you?
Yeah, I'd say rock music's probably my favorite type of music. I like all sorts of different types of music, though, so I wouldn't necessarily box myself into one genre of music either.
Miss Lucy also says that Tool is her favorite as well.
Right on.
Yeah, I might have to get into that because I've been like curious, or not curious, but wanting to like expand my like musician library that I have in my head.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's never been easier. Like, if anything, it's the difficulty is in trying to figure out where you should start because of like Spotify is just makes it so easy to just listen to whatever the hell you want whenever you want. Same with even YouTube music for that matter.
Oh yeah. I also gotta ask because part of my name is a Ninja Turtle reference. If you're into the turtles, which one is your favorite?
Which turtle?
Yeah.
Probably Leonardo. I mean, like everyone always kind of wants to say Raphael, but like ultimately, it's like, man, he's always got something going on, though, doesn't he? Like at what point is it him?
Right? Yeah, Raphael was like the most iconic one. For a while, mine was also Leonardo. But then, like after reading the Last Ronin comic book, which
the Michelangelo one.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
I heard that one's really good.
Oh, it is. This one of my friends, Eamon Fate, sent that to me, and I read it, and I didn't expect myself to fall in love with it as most as I did. It's really good, and that story made me look at Michelangelo in a whole new light. And now at this point, Michelangelo is my favorite turtle, but Leonardo follows in a close second.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the thing, though. It's like I think you'd have to read a story where Michelangelo is actually used as something other than the punchline or the comic relief.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one thing that at least the premise of that story seemed to get across pretty well from what I know about it. I almost don't want to ruin it because I almost feel like I know too much about it.
Yeah, for those of you who wants to read it, I'd heavily recommend it, especially if you guys are Ninja Turtle fans, because that's like a love letter to Turtle fans. But
Mhm.
how do you feel about the Seth Rogen Turtles?
I don't think it looks very good. I mean, not just necessarily the the April thing that everyone latched onto. It was just like
Mm.
I don't know, like they seem like they're little children, and like I know it's like oh they're actual. This is what actual teenagers are like today. I'm like yeah, I don't fucking like teenagers today though. Like I don't hang around with them. Like necessarily, it's like I mean, it's like yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I'm not browsing a bunch of teenagers TikToks. Like
Right.
I it's like yeah, it's not like I want them to stop having fun or anything like that. And like, yeah, if you're a person in my life who is between the ages of 13 and 19, I don't hate you for the record. I just like I don't necessarily think that the current Zoomer like, oh hey, like let's make TikToks of each other and fuck around in front of this camera thing with animation that seems like it's trying really hard to be Spider-Verse. I'm just
Right.
like, oh, I don't know. I just have no interest in this at all. Like I'm like, I think I would be more interested in a new live action Turtles movie that just is something new. Like if they were
Mhm.
like, hey, we're gonna try it again, or we're gonna make a computer animated one that really goes back to the Eastman books or something is gritty, then I'd be like,
Mm.
okay, yeah, I think I could get in on that. But I think right now with Turtles, I mean, it's the best place they ever were in a cartoon show. I think. I mean, granted, I'm not a big Turtles comic reader, so I guess I don't want to make that claim definitively. But it seemed to be that was the version of the Ninja Turtles that everyone loves. So I don't know why they try with movies all the time. Anyways, I'm like I feel like this is the kind of story that you might be able to tell better in cartoon show like Saturday morning cartoon shows and video games. Like I thought Shredder's Revenge was actually great.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah. Yeah,
But
I don't.
yeah, I think feature length big budget feature length Ninja Turtles action movies. I don't necessarily think they're a great idea because they're
Mhm.
hard to do well. And now it seems like, I mean, I don't know, Seth Rogen. Like, I don't generally like getting political at all, but Seth Rogen really seems like the kind of guy that needs to turn everything into some kind of like virtue signal, and that does annoy me.
Yeah, I was because I'm kind of like on the same boat as you. Like, I'm not excited about the new Ninja Turtle movie. I'll see it because like Kevin Eastman like likes this version, so I'm gonna see it because he likes it. But I'm not really too excited about it. And I have also been on record saying I like Seth Rogen better as an actor than a director.
I'm true. I don't know that I could claim that though. What has he directed?
Green Hornet. It's the only one I've seen. And at the time when I
I
was a
actually
kid,
didn't
I
think that
loved
was
it.
terrible. Like
But
I thought that was going to be much worse than it was.
mm,
Oh wait, but no, because he doesn't direct like Pineapple Express and stuff. That's David Gordon Green, right? Like those movies, him and James Franco and stuff. They helped out with the writing of them a lot, but I don't think he directed things like This Is the End and stuff, right? Like those movies.
I think he also helped direct that Bad Santa um move
Yeah.
thing.
I knew about, and that was actually kind of the other thing I was referring to. It's like, dude, like,
Yeah.
why the hell are you trying to shove this many politics into a children's Christmas show? That or wait, no, it wasn't children's, right? It was that it was really crass, but it was like claymation Christmas story. So it's like, why are you making like I don't know. I guess you know what he probably thought he was doing South Park. Because South Park is that it's like, hey, family content premise, but we're going to be very, very crass. The difference is though South Park is usually very, very well written, and I think that is, at least from what I saw, Santa Inc. did not did not have that going for it. Okay, I think I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, because I feel like my favorite role that Seth Rogen has been in so far is actually Donkey Kong in the Mario movie.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite Seth Rogen part.
I mean, yeah, and that's just his voice, really. Although I don't know,
Right.
I think that he wrote him and I think it was Bill Hader wrote Superbad, and Superbad's hilarious. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna like pretend Seth Rogen's never done anything I liked. He definitely has, but
Mhm.
and I don't know if I'd even give him much credit for Mario, because I mean his Donkey Kong was fine, but he was Seth Rogen reading the lines written for Donkey Kong. Like, I don't know that he really did all that much. It's like, I think that, I mean, he's using his normal voice. There's that. That's fine. Hey, X-Ray Girl. X-Ray Girl she's stealing my puppy.
Oh, so your puppy?
I'm on Phil TMNT's show.
Hey, X-Ray.
I don't know if she's going to make a visual appearance, but I can't see her yet. There's her hand.
Hey, X-Ray Girl's hand.
Hey, Jojo, you're my puppy. Oh, no. No.
So, since you're a dog person, and I don't really know most about dogs, what's your favorite dog breed?
Well, I don't know. I guess a poodle, because they don't shed, so that's kind of nice. But Chihuahuas are really growing on me. Rocky's a good boy.
Oh, Chihuahuas are growing on you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rocky, he's just such a good boy. So I love him, but he's still dealing with this bone. Rawr. Rawr. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if I like
Jojo doesn't make me sneezy though. She doesn't shed. She does need to get haircuts though. Rocky doesn't. He kind of sheds his fur, whereas Jojo needs to go to the groomer and get her hair trimmed every so often.
what breed is Rocky?
Rocky's a Chihuahua.
Oh, right. What breed is the dog that you have in front of us?
Jojo, she's a poodle.
Yeah, Jojo, yeah. Poodle.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
a teacup poodle. Aren't you, Jojo?
That's the thing I'm kind of like jealous of with poodles, because like I have a cat. I always had cats since I was like 1. I'm 27 right now, and so like cats shed a lot. Like when they shed a lot. So I'm kind of like jealous of poodles.
Well, I mean, yeah, poodles. That's kind of their big thing. They're very very nice dogs too. They love you so much.
Susie says that she has a poodle named Nala. She's been Susie's homie since 2 years ago.
I can almost I know exactly why you would make the Nala claim, because like even JoJo's a girl, but I still like hold her up and she just looks like Simba. I'll see if I can do it. She might freak out right now though, but.
And then Susie says that her poodle Nala is white. I guess like the lion Nala.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like she looks like baby Simba. So I can't. But like the problem is if I hold her out here, because with the outstretched arms is how you have to do it to get the pose right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's a good puppy.
Well, that's good. So like, have you like always like had dogs like growing up too?
No, I mean, well, I had another poodle like similar to JoJo. Her name was Moneypenny. And I got her when I was 13 or so, maybe 12, and she died. I think around the time I was like in my mid 20s. I think I might have been getting towards 30. I don't know. She lived for quite a while, but yeah, I didn't have a dog at all between when I left Toronto to like go start doing my military training and when I moved in with X-Ray Girl and we had Harley, our little gremlin dog who passed away last year, and that's why we have Rocky now, the Chihuahua. But we got JoJo because we wanted to get a friend for Harley. So JoJo's a little older than Rocky.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's turning 3 this year in about a month. Isn't that right, baby? Little 3-year-old baby.
Well, happy early birthday to you, sure.
And Rocky turned 1 on March 6th, which is also my birthday.
Well, happy belated birthday to you both.
Yeah, it's been quite a while now.
Yeah, nearly like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But if like I guess I'm trying to like remember to ask this to like every guest that I have on this channel. If you could have like one thing that's someone would take away from your channel, what would it be?
I don't know. I guess just that if they watch my streams, hopefully they've listened to me rant about something that they have found insightful in some way, and maybe that I've helped them. But mostly, you just want to kick back and play some video games with some puppies. I'm a pretty good place to be. They're usually here. I don't keep them here. Like JoJo's free to go at any time. JoJo, you can go. I see she doesn't want it.
Oh, I'm kind of jealous right now because like my cat, he's 15, and so like he will sometimes like come on screen when I'm making videos, or like when I'm video calling, especially when he hears a lady's voice for some odd reason. It's specifically ladies. They comes in and like, who is this person? And so like, but when I put him on my lap and just try to spend time with him, he like say, no, I don't want to spend time with you. Bye.
Well, cats can be like that. Even JoJo gets like that sometimes, but generally she really likes being near me or food, unless it's cold in the basement and I'm like playing video games down here late, in which case she'll stay upstairs with X-Ray Girl, and then Rocky comes down here to hang out with me, usually. But they have fairly predictable behaviors.
Well, that's good. And hey to you too, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my little Nemo kind of does, Susie. Well, I gotta also ask, because I guess you know now, with like part of the intro, that I'm a cosplayer.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten into that type of stuff?
I've thrown on a costume to go to the odd convention, like just to be like, well, what the hell, why don't I dress up as this guy to go to this thing? But I wouldn't say I do it anything resembling seriously.
Oh yeah.
Like I guess I've only ever done what people often refer to as closet cosplay. Like I just go into my closet and be like, oh, okay, here's this, looks kind of like that. I did probably my best one was I mostly because it was pretty easy to do, is I just got a rabbit mask, like a rubber rabbit mask, and I had this Leatherman jacket, and I was the guy from Hotline Miami, but even that's like kind of an obscure indie game, so I don't know, but I thought it looked pretty good.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because I did a lot of cosplays, and I know like not everyone I deal with this cosplayer. And my brother's is the one that got me into cosplay and this whole YouTube thing. But that's a story for a different time.
Yeah, I mean, I like it can be a very fun hobby, especially if you get really deep into it and start like making your own stuff. A friend of mine from the army is I think he's won like some serious things for cosplay stuff, where because he makes like foam core sort of sculpted armor, like World of Warcraft characters and things like that. And yeah, sadly I don't have his Instagram like offhand, but I'll send it off to you. Maybe you can follow him. You'd probably enjoy the follow.
Oh yeah, I definitely will if you send me it. So I gotta ask, like, when you created your channel, do you think you were going to like make it this far, or do you think it was going to be like a short-term thing?
I guess I didn't really put too much thought into it at all. I didn't really start it with the intention of. I definitely didn't start it with the intention of doing it for a living ever. I never thought that would happen. But I suppose I didn't really think of it with any real ambition. I just kind of was like, yeah, I would really like it if people wanted to hear what I had to say about video games and stuff. I think it might be kind of cool if people want to hear me. And that's really the deepest I thought about it. And that might not seem like a super satisfying answer, but it is sort of the truth.
Oh, that's always a good answer. Yeah. I see Susie says that she cosplayed in the past for fun. And I like making costumes for my friends and ended up doing it for myself. I didn't do it anymore. Maybe something will inspire me to get back into it.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing with hobbies, right? You can kind of the thing that makes hobbies relaxing is that you can kind of just do them as much or as little as you want, because the only person they're for is you. But I
Right.
guess it does change a bit once you start making like regular content to the point that people like expect to be seeing you on at specific times, like doing specific shows. It's like, oh, okay, now I can't just do what I want. I gotta actually think about this stuff.
And that's fair. That's fair. Because like for example, my Ewok hot dog thing was supposed to be like a thing for a few months. Turned out to feel like a few years. So I kind of know where like you are getting at with that.
Yeah. Side projects have a way of snowballing, becoming much bigger deals.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
But like I also noticed that you have a secondary channel.
Yeah, Human Cyborg Relations. We just started it, though it is there's not too much on there yet, but if you want to hear my wife and I talk about relationships and dating stuff, but also I have like my own kind of interview show on there where I mostly want to talk to people about social interaction and communication. So it's kind of related, but not 100% exactly the same.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's been fun so far. I've been really enjoying it.
So you on this channel, you guys, like you said, talk about dating relationships and
yeah, Human Cyborg Relations is what it's called. And
yeah.
The Saturday show, the dating game show, the one with X-Ray Girl, we're not going to be doing this week because we're going out to dinner with my parents tomorrow, assuming my new niece isn't born, because my sister made it to a full-term pregnancy for one for three, 2 premature babies, and one is now late. but yeah, so if they don't have to end up going to the hospital to deal with my sister, they will be going to dinner with us. But on Monday, I'm interviewing Wicked Virtue. Do you know Amanda?
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard of her. I've seen her content. She's pretty good.
Yeah. I emailed Sheepsidian a couple days ago. He works for Ripperverse, and Lila Hart before that. I think one of my best ones actually is with Caffeine Tweaker. Who do you know Sitch and Adam? Those guys. They have a kind of a political stream that they do on Sundays. Friends with like Mahler and like. Anyways,
I haven't heard of them. Sadly,
she's sort of the X-Ray Girl to them, like what X-Ray Girl is to neurotic. CT is to Sitch and Adam, and she also does my art. Not the current one that I have back here, but here I'll find it because I think that I can just change my audio avatar to that one. No, it's like the one that I don't have. But yeah, if you go to my Twitter banner, that's or my YouTube banner, that's CT's art. That sort of Dark Souls looking one where I seem like I'm gonna use Guts' sword from Berserk to kill my friend Fonz with X-Ray Girl kind of trying to stop me. But yeah, CT is a great artist though, and I think she's super cool to talk to, and she's also Canadian. So, you know, all good things.
Okay.
What do you think, baby Jojo?
JoJo's a pretty interesting dog.
Yeah, she's a cute puppy.
And I see Susie says she subbed, always fun to try new content.
Mm-hmm.
And congrats, Uncle Mark. As she says.
Uncle for the third time. Though my nephew, my oldest of my, what do you call your, what is the classification of nieces and nephews? Like, they're not my cousins. They're not my children. They're somewhere in between there.
That's a good question.
Yeah, there's not really a word for plural. My sister's kids, I guess, is the best way to say it. But yeah, he was the first one, and he was born 2 months premature. Like, I had to go to the neonatal ICU, and it was the week that I lost my leg. So we were not having a good February 2017.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of work. That whole like child delivery thing.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like worth it, but it seems like a journey within
I've
itself.
never had to experience it, but in my time working EMS, I have been present for a few of them. It is it's pretty intense. I mean, like, no, I'm not going to actually say that thought. But in I find myself less stressed in situations where my patient is going to die than in situations where my patient is giving life. So, I mean, I know that's not right, but damn it, it's true. I feel like I can deal with the death part. I'm like, okay, all I got to do is keep the blood inside the person.
Yeah, that is.
There's
I
a lot
guess
more going on with pregnancy.
I gotta mention that, yeah. But Susie says Jojo gave a grr of approval.
Yeah. Yeah, every so often she'll get into a growl and then I'll change her voice to make her sound like this, and it's actually super funny.
That was cool. And then I see next
Robo Jojo.
Robo Jojo.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, so there's only 2 words in English for it. There's not one word that's gender inclusive.
Hey, nowadays I'm surprised that there's not a word
And
for that.
I'm not like, that's not a weird progressive talking point either. Like, cousin is a gender inclusive term for people who are related to your aunts or uncles. But even then, aunts or uncles, it's another one where there's 2 separate words.
Right. No, I get you. And I see Miss says, I'm very lucky to be there for the 5 births. Oh, because she says that she has an of 18.
Ooh, boy. That is, oh my God. I'm having trouble tracking 3 now, and the 3rd one's not even born yet. I mean, she's right there. Like, I could get her if I needed to, but it's still, like, technically still 2. You know?
Right. Now, yeah, I'm not even like a dad to a human, and my cat's is challenging to like keep up with that time. So I know the feeling.
Yeah.
And then that's why I have to say kiddos or younglings.
Yeah, they are.
And then next says, haha, yeah, I guess there isn't a word that describes both at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought of it until you said something.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about it until that moment.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Ors Birds, he's another wonderful dude. How you doing, Ors?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ors Board, how's it going?
Yeah.
Right, I think we might have my Street Fighter character done here. I've been chipping away at it casually through the entire time. But yeah, I guess. Hold on, wait. Do I have to give it a name? Oh my God! No, God! I almost hit a preset. I would have lost my shit. But hold on one sec. I'll bring him on screen here. While I was not able to change the leg to anything robotic, I managed to create something of a cyborg. He's got like. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe I just got to click on the face. Now the eyebrows just glowed because I'm in the eyebrow option. But yeah, that's the best I got. Not terrible, I'd say. But
that looks pretty cool
on the eyebrows. Which eyebrow do I have here? Hold on, it's like no, that's way too weird. Maybe that's actually probably the closest one because I got big eyebrows. All right, it's close as I'm gonna get. He's way more jacked than I am, though, for sure.
Yeah, way more jacked than I am. I've been meaning to hit the gym.
Way more jacked and way more robotic than I am in real life. There we go.
Wait. So you're telling me that you're not a cyborg, you're a human?
I mean, I am actually a cyborg. Hold on a sec. I can. Yeah, this is my leg.
Oh, snap.
Like, yeah. There's tubes and cables and stuff coming out of it and everything. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
See, when I was a kid, part of me wanted to kind of be in like your situation where I have a robotic leg, so I can literally put my foot in my mouth anytime I wanted.
Yeah. That's of all the downsides that you have to deal with. Trust me when I say that's not enough of an upside.
And then I got older, and then because I also got into Star Wars, so I thought it would be cool to like get my hand cut off like Anakin and Luke's. And then I got older. I said, you know what? That would really suck.
Yeah, it would. And I'm very happy I've not lost a hand. I'd be in a much worse position. But yeah, you gotta just you never know when you're gonna lose a body part. You gotta just kind of roll with life's punches.
Right. And I see
there
that.
we go. So you can change the like sharpness of the face. I was like, I gotta make him older, and I finally figured it out. This is a pretty detailed character creator, though. Holy shit! It's like kind of more intense than I want it to be. Which I mean, I can't really. You can't hold that against the game, though. To be fair.
And I also see that Orange Sports says, I've been called the Walmart Mark the Cyborg.
Oh. Well, I don't see it that way. You're your own man, Ords.
Ours is awesome.
No.
That was cool.
Jojo, are you finished? For some reason that stops her. I don't know why, but if I say Jojo, are you finished? She just goes. Jojo,
see, that seems like a classic sibling rivalry.
Yeah. She's just like, okay, fine, I'm gonna leave.
Robo Jojo.
Puppies. What are you doing now? You're both fighting to leave. I'm gonna build that wall in the form of a prosthetic leg that will separate them. There you go, Jojo. I've prevented the Mexican from encroaching on your territory. Don't worry, Rocky. I love you, even though you're Mexican.
See. Sounds lucky because you're white, like not gender inclusive, racially inclusive, or something like that.
I mean, I guess so. I only joke about it because she seems to irrationally be territorial about Rocky, and he's a Chihuahua, so he is a Mexican. So we always just make the joke that it's like, oh no, Jojo, don't listen to her growls. It's not her talking; it's her father.
It's her father.
But then Jojo's just like, hey. It's really kind of funny to like conceptualize it as like, what if she's just being racist? And Rocky's just sitting there like, I love you, Jojo. Let's hang out. No, he wants to play with me though. Rocky.
Yeah,
Oh, he might have dropped his bone somewhere. That's why he's trying to bite my hand. But Rocky, when he bites, it's like not really bad. He just goes, hey, let's play.
Oh yeah, same with my cat. Like it's interesting how like your animals would react like or act like. What's like the most like random thing that your dogs may have done?
What that most random thing that they what?
May have done.
They have done? I don't know. Rocky, Rocky, he did a really cute thing the other day. We went on a really long walk and went to the dog park. They ran around in the off-leash park. He picked a fight with 2 Dobermans, which was fun for me, but they didn't get hurt. But it was scary for me though. And we brought him home. I got this new food that I got from this like dental health advantage diet, like Hill Science thing that my vet recommended, and gave him a piece of it. He picked it up, carried it over to his little pee pad where he goes to pee, then ate a little bit of it, dropped it, walked over onto the pee pad, and then passed out. And I thought it was really funny because it was like those nights when you come home and you're really drunk and you like get yourself food and then maybe like you pass out on the floor of your own bathroom or something, and it's just like, wait, why did that happen? My bed is right there. And so I just got this picture in my head of Rocky having one of those nights. It was very funny to me. Jojo,
I love when like our pets like has those moments because like it definitely creates like this like very comedic moment that we may need.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they make me laugh all the time. They're very funny puppies.
Oh yeah, same with my cat. He makes me laugh all the time. Like last time, like he gave me a heart attack. Right? It was like last year, and he wasn't doing so well. He got a little tad bit better, and so like how I knew he was feeling better was he like was chasing his tail like a dog, and he spit his tail like whined really loudly, and I thought like something fell on top of him, and just had his like tail in his mouth. Like look at me like what do you want, Dad?
That's pretty funny.
So yeah, I my cat gave me like a few heart attacks over the years.
Oh yeah, they will do that. With these two, it's really just anytime if I'm like taking the garbage out or even just leaving to go to work and they dart past me because I don't really think either of them have a great sense of how dangerous the road is. And they'll just like run out into the street. Granted, we live on a pretty quiet street, so it's not. But at the same time, it's also, well, I mean, it being a quiet street, isn't that kind of all the more reason why people might not be paying attention while they're like tearing through here? And
Right.
So it does kind of worry me sometimes when they do that. And it often involves, if you are one of my neighbors, that those are the times that you see a one-legged man running after a bunch of doggies. They're good doggies though. And they're very small. Which is why it ends up looking as funny as it does, because it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's me chasing down these incredibly tiny doggies, and it's okay. It's all gonna be okay.
Oh, speaking of which, you guys want to see my cat? You want to see my cat?
Yeah, let's go. More animals.
Oh yeah. So you see two of me for a second, but here's my little boy Nemo.
Ah, right on. He looks like Jonesy from Aliens.
And I got stuck with the name Nemo because my sister had him before me, and renamed him from Tigger to Nemo.
Oh, like how long was he Tigger before you changed his name?
So he was about like a year and a half ish, give or take. And then my sister said, "Okay, since I'm going to own this cat, I'm going to rename him from Tigger to Nemo." And then like once we moved down to Florida, right? She said, "Hey, can you babysit him?" I said, "Sure." Turns out that he became my cat. Well, my sister bought like two other cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never owned a cat. I've been around cats a fair amount, but I guess I think that the trickiest thing with them is trying to figure out how to break past their personality filter, I guess, or like their affection filter. Because most cats will be very standoffish with you at first. And it's only if you do something or interact with them in a way that makes them think, okay, I like this one, that you've got any chance at all. And, yeah.
See, with me, how I got past with Nemo is that I had like, because he was kind of like that at first with me. And so like he would like constantly want to like be alone. And so I would not let him. Yeah, he was one of those cats with strangers. And of course, at the time, I was a stranger. So I was like, come pick him up, kind of like be in his face, not in an aggressive way, but in more of like a fatherly way.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just like, just have to be in his face, like be super interactive with him in order for him to say, okay, I think I like this guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is often kind of the way of it with cats. It's they're hunters, so they like being alone, and like they're solo hunters. Sorry, I should clarify that because dogs hunt as well, obviously. but dogs do also forage. Dogs will eat. They can subsist off of plants, whereas cats are necessic carnivores. So cats have to hunt in the wild. Like they have no choice because they can't. Their bodies cannot survive on vegetables. Which is why if you ever see people on the internet talking about their vegan cats, those are going to be the saddest videos you ever see in your life, because you will never see an animal look more depressed because they're basically trying to keep this cat alive with like meat supplements, and it's like, oh my god, oh, it's rough. I feel sorry for the poor kitties. But yeah, I think that it is they like dogs though are they're pack hunters. They tend to hunt in groups, which is why coyotes are probably the ones that you'll see most often in North America in city areas, but obviously wolves are kind of the biggest example of that. And apparently all dogs, including my two little puppies, evolved from like Canis lupus, I think, like the original wolf, which is kind of crazy to think that every dog is a variation of a wolf, even the really tiny ones that are like cute and look nothing like wolves at all. But cats hunt alone. They just they stalk, and so their whole thing is like, wait, no, I don't want to be near you. I don't want to be near anyone. I just want to slink around in the bushes and attack and kill, and then eat, and it'll be good, and then I'll get sleepy. That's kind of how a cat functions. Whereas dogs are like, oh no, I need to be around other people because like I can't do this alone.
Right. And I feel like some days my cat is like kind of like this.
Here we go. Here the fuck we go. Here the fuck we go.
Kinda.
I mean, yeah, no, I've been there. I mean, that, like human cyborg relations, like our channel, kind of actually helping introverts is sort of one of my goals, because I used to be much more introverted, and I think that even like despite the fact that I did a lot of extroverted stuff throughout my youth, like playing in bands or doing competitive martial arts, like you name it, in a situation where I have to like perform under pressure, I'd usually be okay with those situations. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is that it took a lot for me to do any of those things in front of a bunch of other people at any point. And I think that where people, I don't want to say lose sympathy for it, or where they don't imagine that you had any trouble with it at all. They're like, well, now I see you go on shows and stuff and you talk, and it seems like you have no introverted aspect to you at all. You're just an extrovert. You're clearly a people person. You love talking to people and you'll talk people's ears off. It's like, yeah, but I mean, I also have no problem. If X-Ray Girl said to me, hey, I've got to go on a secret mission to the moon. I'm going to be gone for a month and we need you to not go out anywhere or talk to anyone because no one can know about this. It's for the fate of humanity. I'd be like, cool. Like that would be the end of it. I'd just be like, yeah, so okay, like I necessarily have to stay at home, not talk to anyone and play video games, just hang out with my puppies. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, but at the same time, I understand that it's maybe not the healthiest thing for me to fall too deep into, you know? So I think maybe that might be part of one of the reasons why I make videos and go on streams and things like that, because as I'm now in a point in my life where, well, I guess now I'm married, so it kind of doesn't really, this doesn't really work. But I'm now in a point in my life where, at least when talking about the kind of friends like my boys, you know, like I'm not in a situation where I'm going out and hanging out with my buddies every couple nights or every day or 3 times a week or even every weekend. It's like, well, now like I live with my wife, and it's not the same kind of relationship as I would have with like my buddies, because we have serious shit to deal with too. And like we're in love with each other. So it's not really a similar vibe at all. Because now X-Ray Girl's my family and this is my home. So if it was that same scenario of like, hey, for the next month, you've got to not leave the house and not tell anyone where you are. Everyone thinks that you're on vacation. You got to just not be seen. If it was like, yeah, but X-Ray Girl's going to be here, I'd be like, cool. Because to me, I'm like, no, to me, like being at home in my environment includes her now, where I like for the longest time in my life, the socializing with my friends and going out and making an effort to spend time with the people that I talk to was probably the thing that got me doing it and practicing it and being able to talk to people. And despite being I don't know, if not actually, because they're actually still kind of trying to diagnose me, but like potentially kind of autistic-y, like awkward dude who spends probably way too much time caring about video games and stuff. And I had to figure out how to harness that into a personality that people could be around and not find weird or off-putting. And I found that was probably the biggest thing that was causing me problems when I would be trying to socialize with people before I figured that out, because I would want to just talk to people and be friends with them and have them talk to me about things. But I would find that I would put people off in a way, because they'd be like, yeah, but you're kind of weird. So yeah, we'll talk to these people over here. And it's not like I couldn't make any friends or anything like that, but it was the kind of thing that I made a conscious effort to be like, well, maybe me being as introverted as I am has put me in a position where I've now got social hurdles that I need to overcome. And that these are thoughts that I had 25 years ago. So, and like now a lot's happened since, clearly. Like I've gone through an entire adult life, essentially. Like I'm now effectively a middle-aged man. I'm 39, so I'm not young. But I think though that it's that aspect of my personality and my development, my childhood and my maturing, that I think I might actually be able to pass on some valuable advice or just mistakes that I've learned, to be able to relay them to people that might be in a similar situation to me and are even younger or even older than I was when I started figuring my way out of it at the same time too. Because I've just had a lot of people, especially at the most recent meetup, there was a few people when I would start talking about and thinking about doing some relationship stuff, so I would just be like, yeah, man, like my biggest problem is I feel like I've got a whole conversation in my head when I'm about to talk to someone, and it's going to be a great conversation. I know they're going to love it, but then I start talking and I just can't get my mouth to relay my brain's intention in a way that the person I'm trying to talk to understands the way I meant, And I find there's a lot of misunderstandings that happen, and most of it comes down to just, dealing with some of your own personal things for sure, but also finding ways which you can branch out and meet new people, talk to new people, and not think too hard about it. I think as much as that sounds like the worst advice in the world, think about it less. It kind of is true. If you find you just start meeting people and talking to them and being nice to them and not trying to get anything out of them. I think that's also another way people often get that wrong, where especially if they like a girl or something, they want to jump right to ask her out, like tell her you love her. It's like, no, definitely don't lead with I love you ever. Like I can tell you right now, that's a terrible idea. But that same person that if it's like, hey, you know what, I'd like to get to know this person, and you don't think of it as she's the one and I'm gonna make her love me, you might find that you just end up having a pretty good conversation with that person, and you end up liking them, and they liking actually who they are, not who you think they are. And then, hey, maybe there's nothing between you romantically, but hey, maybe she has a friend or he is a friend if you're taking the same advice just for a friendly interaction. And you might find that your life ends up evolving in some interesting ways because you took the time to, try to talk to people. And that's kind of what I want to help people with on the new channel, I guess.
And that was like, that's definitely some great advice.
The introversion thing tipped me off. I was like, oh yeah, introversion. That's mostly what I'm trying to help people with.
Oh no, that's definitely great advice, because like I'm like, even though I'm becoming like, since I've made my channel, becoming more extroverted than introverted, because before I made my channel I was definitely more introverted, and so like I can definitely see where you're coming at from with that too, and I can definitely back you up, because the some of the girlfriends I had, I can back, like, for any of you guys who are wondering, is there any truth to that? Yes, because just getting to know that person, besides like trying to make a romantic relationship right off the bat, may be more beneficial in the long run, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you'll always want to have a relationship with the person before you jump to ask the person out. And if that relationship, by the way, I got my ID card with my fully kitted out cyborg dude who has my
That's very
name.
cool.
Yes, finishing avatar creation. Anyways, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to be that distracting. Oh man, I threw myself off my own train of thought. I was in the middle of a sentence. Sorry, what
You
was
were
I saying?
talking about you want to have a relationship with that person, like keep talking, have a relationship, like a plot, like
And yes,
build
so
up that relationship.
that relationship could be buying her a drink because you walked up to her and said, "Hey, like, can I buy you a drink?" Because that is not all like, hey, this is a good thing to get through your head very early too. Buying a drink for someone and them accepting that drink does not mean they like you. I mean, it's a good start, but
Right.
it doesn't. You're not there yet. So I think that looking at that first, hey, buy the person a drink and start talking to them because I don't know, you think they're cute or something. Like there's some reason you want to, so you go and you do it, and they seem receptive to it. That is now you're forming the relationship. It's from there until the time you say, hey, do you want to like go get dinner together tomorrow night or whatever it ends up being, that even though it was a one-time interaction, you're not going to be seeing this person a whole bunch necessarily unless they say yes, but you could have just gone home and that would be that. If you've established at least a bit of a rapport, if not a relationship, and a rapport might actually be a better word, and then ask them out, it's not a stranger just being like, yo, you want to get out of here and you know, like kiss each other. Like it's like that's such a weird, like, I mean, you can just think of the weirdest things you could come up and say to someone. And it's very often, if your cold open is asking the person out on a date, you've got to understand that the person on the other end of that's just going to be like, I don't even know who you are. Or I don't know anything about you. It's like, wait, how about you lead with, hey, it's a nice day, isn't it? Yeah. You like dogs? Yeah, I got 2 dogs. You want to see a picture of my dog? You know, like something,
right? Right.
Something that makes the person seem like, okay, yeah, this is an actual human being I'm talking to, not just, you know, what would be the word for it? Like the scammers, like you get like a prince from like Nigerian prince. Because if you're just like, yeah, like let's go, well, it's like because it's the term Bob's and Vajen, the send Bob's and Vajen text, cold text. Like it's kind of the in-person equivalent of that. If you just go up to someone and like, hey, you want to go out together? It's like, what? No. So yes, a relationship and a rapport first is always good. And be that, you know, tune that to the situation. So if it's, hey, there's a girl at a bar who I think is cute, you've got a very narrow timeline. So think of it more like, okay, establish a rapport. And then if there's actually anything there, maybe give it a shot. Jojo, sorry, I'll bring the puppy back. So you can see that she's getting to, oh crap, I'm back. Ah, Jojo, go. Hold on a second.
There we go.
Jojo. Jojo, are you finished? Jojo, are you finished? Oh, okay. Yeah, establish a rapport with the person before you ask them out, because you want to make sure it's a person asking them out, not a cold call, like or a spam text.
That is also true. But that's definitely something I've had to somewhat learn nearly the hard way. Thankfully, like one of my friends was able to like help me out of that a potentially bad situation like that too. So yeah, I'm happy about that. And Miss Susie says Jojo getting jelly again.
Yeah, that's her deal.
And then she said, "True, Mark. I think she's agreeing with what your point was."
Yeah.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And then I see Kathy saying she wants a hot dog Funko Pop. My cat is a Funko Pop. And Susie's just agreeing with it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be a Funko Pop of any of this stuff, but I think there is an X-Ray Girl plushie being designed. Like, I don't know when they're going to be doing the campaign for it, but I think it's just in whatever the next round of Friday Night Tights plushies is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't really know anything about the design yet, but Jojo. Hey, you don't snap at Rocky like that. Jojo. See, look, Rocky loves you. See, he loves you. He just wants to give her
Yeah,
kisses.
I bet she'll warm up to him eventually.
She usually
Eventually.
does, but he cleans her poodle tears.
Oh, really?
Jojo. Yeah, that's why she doesn't get streaks on her eyes. Otherwise, she would. If you go look at some older pictures of her, she definitely has like the poodle streaks, and they're kind of coming in a little now because she's about due for a haircut. But yeah, he cleans her tears. Don't you
Oh,
love
hey,
it?
that's always good. That's a good big brother.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I know, like I was saying, I will try to keep this an hour and a half because I know you wanted to get something to eat.
Yeah, I am quite hungry.
So I won't keep you from that any longer. So before we go, where can people find you and what do you have planned coming up?
All right, yeah, as you can see in my little name tag here, I'm at Cyborg Marc on Twitter because that Mark the Cyborg was taken by a guy in 2009 who is like not tweeted since, but yeah, I'm Cyborg Marc on Twitter. YouTube.com/Marc the Cyborg, markthecyborg.locals.com if you'd like to support me for $2 a month or $20 for a year. The biggest reason to do so is that I give away video games. So if you play games on Steam, I very often will just post codes, and people in my community are pretty good about not grabbing them always first, and they comment and say, "Yeah, I redeemed this one." So yeah, there might be a video game for you before you know it.
Okay. A Mark the Cyborg video game?
Oh no! I mean, I give away like codes because I have a lot of game codes from places like Humble Bundle and Fanatical and stuff where I just get big quantities of Steam codes. So I'll often just do little giveaways. Now I could be giving away like 5 a day if I would also give away the kind of random ass $2 indie game codes that I have because I've got a lot of those. Because they're hard to give away, but I try to make it games that people might actually be interested in or have heard of. Sometimes they're a bit strange. Like one of the games was I think I've given away a couple of Euro truck simulators, but those truck simulator games, apparently people actually like them. So I'm like, well, it's because I don't think this is that interesting. Doesn't mean I shouldn't give it away, but I try to do my best to make them decent, like relatively okay video games that people would actually want to play and not be like, oh, I redeemed this code and it's something stupid. Like I just gave away a copy of Hollow Knight yesterday. It's a good game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. One day I would very much like to be in that position to do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, just start buying a bunch of Humble Bundles, and eventually you will have pages upon pages of codes that you're never going to be able to redeem.
Okay.
I don't get me wrong. Every so often I'll redeem one that's a game that I want to play, but yeah, I'm not. I don't mess too much with the vast majority of those codes. Just by pure volume, it would take me decades.
Okay, that's something nice to know. Can't you say bye anymore? Okay.
Jojo, you gonna say bye to Nemo?
And if you guys like want to like support Marc, either follow on his like other social media as well. I do have already made a link. Like I linked his social media in the description, so to make it easier on you guys, as well as where you guys can find me as well. Thank you so much for like coming on. It's been a honor getting to talk to you for a little bit. For sure.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thanks for inviting me on.
And that said, love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind of one another. Talk to your fellow mutants later.